In this week's episode of Industry Insider, Collision Repair is celebrating International Women's Day by reaching out to women working in the industry and hearing their stories and experiences when it comes to working in the trades. Chelsea Stebner is a managing partner at Saskatoon's Parr Auto Body. In her position, she has seen and helped women thrive in the industry. While she began as a receptionist at a heavy-duty truck shop, she climbed the collision repair ladder by grasping every opportunity thrown her way and being ready and willing to learn. Chelsea, could you tell us a little bit more about how you first got started in the automotive industry?
Well, to be very honest with you, I don't have any technical skill. I am not a journey person whatsoever. I actually started as a receptionist a very long time ago in a heavy-duty truck shop.
And how did you get from there to where you are today as a managing partner at Parr Auto Body?
For one thing, I had an amazing mentor who basically every time he saw an opportunity for me, he pushed me into that opportunity. So I think really a willingness to learn. And once I got to know people in the industry, there was lots of opportunity. People in this industry are incredibly passionate and committed to what they do. And there are, if you're looking for them, there's so many different opportunities and workshops, different volunteer opportunities to get involved in. So I think really being willing to do the work.
Do you feel that women are underrepresented when it comes to careers in the trades and the general collision repair landscape?
Most definitely I do. I think there's so much opportunity for women in this trade. And, being a business owner in this trade, I'm always going to look for the right person for the job. However, if I see a young woman with a willingness to learn and that enthusiasm and that curiosity, I am certainly going to look and see if there is a spot for her on our team.
Have you ever been treated differently as a woman in the industry?
I have to be really honest there. I've never felt that being in a male-dominated industry was a detriment to me whatsoever. I've never felt any sort of real bias. And I do also see the perspective when women would come into the trade from, say, an apprenticeship or the production line, that things definitely could be a little bit different for them. But I've always been welcomed with open arms. To be really honest with you, I would say the detriment to being a woman in this industry would more so come from a customer side of things than from other people within the industry. There's been many a time, and I would say not within the last probably 10 years or so, but prior to that, where we would have a male customer come in and ask to talk to the person that can deal with his problem or, that vehicle or estimate that car. And I'd put my coat on and grab my notepad and say, hey, I'm going to come out and help you. And you would hear, no, I need somebody who knows what they're doing. I need a man to look at the car. And so, there's a little bit of challenge with that. And that part of that is learning how to read people. So do you want to put up a fight or do you want to find somebody else to look at it, right? How do you want to handle the situation? And there are certain times where I'd say, hey, no worries. We will grab somebody else who can look at it. Just reading the situation itself. Or I'm fully trained and capable to help you out in this situation. Why don't we go take a look at it? And then prove that you can handle it. So really being able to read people would help in that kind of situation. I can tell you another story, not about myself, but I certainly can share a story about a young lady who applied for a receptionist job here at our shop. I was doing interviews and her resume came across my desk and it was recommended to me as well. And so I called her in for an interview, sat her down, went through our interview process, and one of the questions I asked her was, why do you want to work at Parr Auto Body? And she kind of just paused for a moment and she said, well, actually, I really want to work on cars. And I said, so how come you're applying for a receptionist position then? And she said, well, I didn't know how else to get into the industry. So long story short, we hired her to start in the back shop instead of as a receptionist. And she would have made a fantastic front end person, but she is an amazing apprentice within our shop today.
And have you seen a transformation in recent years when it comes to female representation in the body shop and the general collision repair industry?
I really think within the last 10 years, our customers don't blink an eye. We've got, in our front office, we've got 4 women in the front office. We have 2 apprentices in our production shop. And so I don't believe that our women see any bias whatsoever. I think people just accept it for what it is today, which is amazing.
What advice would you have for other women in the trades, or for women considering pursuing a skilled trade, but they may be a bit tentative because they fear they may be treated differently?
I guess my advice would be is be confident in what you want, be respectful, know your own values, know your own worth, and go in with your eyes wide open. Be educated as you can about the business that you're joining. You want to make sure you're a good fit for that business as well. It's your responsibility as much as that business's responsibility to ensure that, you know, your values align, your vision aligns. Where do you want to go? Look at the environment around you, do your research, and you have the opportunity to forge your own path.
Next, Collision Repair spoke to Nic Sheetka, a drag racer about to enter her 10th season and an auto body apprentice at Parr Auto Body. Now in her 3rd year of schooling, Nic originally applied to the facility in response to a receptionist position, but the facility hired her as an apprentice. So Nic, what first sparked your interest in the automotive industry?
There's kind of a backstory to it. So for as long as I can remember, my parents were taking my sister and I to watch stock car racing at our local track, Wine Group Raceway, which used to be called Bridge City Speedway. And after the races, I would go down to the pits where all the cars and drivers were, and you were able to get autographs. So I always went and got the autograph of a lady by the name of Mickey Pagoda, and she raced the number 49 Thunder Stock. And she told me once I turned 12, which was the minimum age at the time to get into the pits, that I could join her pit crew. So after spending a few years on her pit crew and soaking up as much information as I could, I bought my own car at the age of 14 and began my racing career. And I had a lot of help from the Pagoda's crew and their guys. They kind of set us out on the right track. And from then on, cars were more like fun than work to me. So I could see myself working in a shop in the future, whether that be mechanics or auto body. And turned out, Mickey Pagoda, her husband, is one of the owners here at Parr. So this opportunity came up a few years down the road, and I ended up working in the back here.
And how long have you been racing now?
So I'm still racing. May 30th is our season opener at Wine Group Raceway, and I will be starting my 10th year and have just moved up into the fastest division that we have in Western Canada. So we're quicker than the NASCAR guys, and we're looking forward to learning a lot in this new car, and it should be fun.
How did you get to where you are today as an apprentice at Parr Auto Body?
After high school, I actually ended up taking a position at a trophy shop and was making awards, and I just wasn't sure what I wanted to go to school for. And then this opportunity came up for the reception position, and when I got brought in for an interview, they said, "What are you really doing here?" And I told them my real interest is in the back. I like working on cars. Obviously, they had a bit of history on me from the track. It just kind of worked out that way, and they put me through the shop. I began as a detailer, and they kind of moved me up into the apprenticeship program pretty quickly. I ended up going to school. I'm in my 3rd year right now of 4, and
Awesome.
then I'll be able to write for my ticket. So things just sort of snowballed from this interview that was supposed to be for a reception position, and then it grew into what it is now.
Do you feel that women are underrepresented in the industry?
I would say we're definitely a minority. Kind of cool, last year I earned myself a spot in the National Skills Competition in Halifax, Nova Scotia. And in the automotive refinish category, I found myself on the podium with 2 other women. So all the top 3 in that competition ended up being girls.
Have you ever had any negative experiences in the industry as a woman?
To be honest, I don't really think my experience in the industry are defined by me being a woman. When I go to work, just like everyone else, I go there to do my job. I've only ever worked at this one shop, Parr Auto Body. And I'm pretty lucky around here. We call it our Parr family. We all take care of each other. so I've never really felt out of place. I'm in a few chat groups with other ladies across North America who work in shops, and you do hear conflict sometimes from them and struggles that they go through, but personally, I got into a really good shop and I've never really experienced any of that.
Do you have any advice for other women wanting to pursue careers in the trades?
My advice would be, if it's what makes you happy, to do it. I got into the industry because it was an interest and a passion of mine that stemmed from being a race car driver and being on a pit crew. If you like hands-on work and you think the trades might be for you, it doesn't hurt to try one. Try one, go to your local trade school, get information on what courses they offer. Don't think because you're a woman that you can't be part of the industry if that's what you want to pursue. In the same breath, don't join the trades just because you feel like you have to prove yourself. No matter what career path you choose, it should be because that's what you love, whether it's in an office, hospital, shop, whatever. If that's what you want to do, work hard to excel at it, and hopefully it's what you love. And if not, you can always change.
Brie Campbell is the owner of Nic Auto Body, a facility in rural Outlook, Saskatchewan. She began there 11 years ago full-time, and on a day-to-day basis, she says she enjoys the paperwork side of things, but always tries to stay hands-on around the facility. So Brie, how did you get to where you are today?
Actually, my former husband and I he had been in the trade, and he was wanting to buy his own shop, and so the two of us embarked on this adventure. We had been living in Saskatoon, and then the job that I was at, I kind of got tired of and joined Dynamic, working full-time about 11 years ago. And and so then he ended up leaving the business, and here I am.
And what does a typical day look like for you?
Well, things are changing, but I'm expecting a baby on the 14th. But
congratulations! Yeah, you mentioned you were pregnant, and you realized it was so soon. Holy.
Yeah. Hopefully it's like this weekend, but
oh my goodness.
So I'm generally pretty hands-on, but I'm having to learn to step back and let the people that I've hired do their job, so that when I'm not here, they know what to do. But generally, I kind of come in 7:45 and get everything rolling and move vehicles and talk to my team. And I really like the customer service and the paperwork aspect of it. I took finance in university, and so I think it's been like a really great balance, because I'm not trying to micromanage the back, because that's really not my forte. But I really like the paperwork and dealing with the insurance companies, and I really like dealing with our customers, because that's where you see that you're making a difference for people.
Mm-hmm.
When we spoke to Chelsea Stebner, she said a lot of the time, more of the negativity that women experience in the body shop comes from customers rather than their colleagues. Would you agree with that?
I very rarely, especially like in a small community, because a lot of your customers, I very rarely am treated poorly or with disregard. It's funny, the older, like elderly ladies are the only ones that feel like they need to talk to a man. And I have a team of men that they can talk to. I am good with that.
They're the ones that are the problem. That's so funny.
Yeah, but that's okay. And I've got some guys that are got great sense of the humor, and they can help those ladies out when they need to. But it's actually been surprising, because we have a lot of farmers and things like that, and they are fantastic. I was listening to a podcast last night, actually, and it was just about women entrepreneurs in general. And they said that one of the innate qualities that women have is generally sincerity. And I think that maybe really comes across in a rural setting, because it's someone and whatever advice you're giving them, they can feel that sincerity and that you are there for their best interest. And so maybe that's part of the success, like, you know, why I've been successful in that regard.
Do you have any women on the team at your shop?
Yeah, I have a lady that details, and I also have a customer service rep that is female, and I'm having a boy, but we would have almost evened out our staff ratio to 50-50 if this would have been a girl. But yeah, and they're fantastic. I've worked in all female situations in my past and all male situations where I was the only woman, and a good split between the two is often the absolute best. And I just can't say enough about our team.
And what advice do you have for other women in the industry, whether it be someone in a position like yours or a young girl considering a career in auto body trade?
I think that if you're someone even contemplating a skilled trade, you already have what it takes. But you might have some superpowers that you don't realize will make you that much more successful in your chosen field. Like I said, women tend to be a little bit more service oriented and sincere. They have better people skills, and I think we have greater empathy for others. And we are great multitaskers. We work harder, and we're better team builders. And again, going back to that podcast that I was listening to last night, this one brought up the fact that sometimes women are a little bit more insecure, but it makes us a better learner and a better listener. And I thought that was really intriguing. So I thought I would add that to my superpower list. I guess I would also say that there are a lot of, like, with a skilled trade, you know, that's, there's, a skilled trade requires other support roles, like everything up front, because no matter how hard the technicians work in the back, all the money is made up in the office. Everything from when the customer walks through the door to processing it with the insurance company. And, you know, it's such a big part of the team, because it is, like, any kind of skilled trade is a team-based sport. So, you know, I just, I hope that people will look at, you know, not only the trades in the back, but also the trade that goes up in the front. So.
Well, thank you so much for speaking us today, Chelsea, Nic, and Brie. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Industry Insider, the special edition for International Women's Day. I'm your host, Allison Rogers, and be sure to subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, and SoundCloud for more. And tune in each and every week for brand new episodes.